Hello everyone, welcome to RacePush.com. I am Paulie, your host. Today it is the pre-race show for the ChumpCar race at Circuit of the Americas, their inaugural race, the first race ever, whatever you want to call it, for Circuit of the Americas for ChumpCar. It's going to be a huge race. It's a bucket list track, and all of the big names are coming out. Everybody that could possibly make it to this race are going to this race. Over 100 entrants, and wait till you see the roster that have turned out for this race. Before we get to that, though, let's take a look at the supplementals, and there it is, that beautiful racetrack. It looks like somebody used colored pencils to highlight the thing, but actually that is the way that it looks. Counterclockwise, 3.41 miles, 20 turns, and that signature 133-foot climb up to turn one, the blind left-hander that takes you off camber down the other side. Look at how beautiful this racetrack is. Very fast. Lots of straight sections here. Definitely a horsepower track. It's going to cater very well to the faster cars. As I go down through the supplementals, didn't really see anything here that out of the ordinary. But that all changed when I got to this screen. Take a look at this. These are track damage liability charges, the fees that come your way if you make a mistake, if you damage something at the racetrack. Guardrails, $195 a foot. Tech Pro barrier, $975 per block. Catch fence panels, $780 a panel. Catch fence poles, $975 for a pole. But get this, as you go down the list, liquid spill on track, $500 per corner. So what that means is if your driver opens up an oil pan or blows a power steering line or whatever, and you find out about it, make sure you get him off the racetrack. It could be a very expensive weekend for you. Being that they have 20 turns at this racetrack, theoretically, if you oil down the whole racetrack, you're looking at 10 grand. So some pretty hefty fines coming your way. One of the things I did notice in the subs, and I guess this kind of goes for any racetrack, but make sure you bring those jack stand pads with you from your trailer. They're probably going to make you park your trailer out in Timbuktu, so make sure you bring those pads with you to protect the asphalt or wherever it is that you might be jacking the car up. So let's take a look at the roster. Here we have the who's list from ChumpCar. Bavarian Alcoholics Anonymous is going to be there. Buck Snort's going to be there. Birmingham is coming out with both of their teams. They're bringing both cars, the Porsche 944 and the Lexus SC300. Now these are the Porsche Club guys. They know how to prepare a race car, so you can bet that they're going to show up loaded to bear. Busted Axle Motorsports showing up with their Volkswagen Jetta. Cone Crusher's going to be there. The guys that did so well at NCM in their blue and orange 944, they're going to be there. Tyler Peterson with Crank Yankers Racing bringing his BMW out there. He's having a banner year. E-Racing is going to be there. Gotham City Racing is coming back with their 2328. Martin McClure Racing is going to be there. Both Saabs from R Bank Racing are going to be there. And Jackie Yates, both 3000 GTs, they're Mitsubishis. They're bringing those cars out as well. So as you can see, it is a packed field. Over 100 cars are going to be there. So there's going to be plenty of racing to enjoy, plenty of cars for the teams to compete with. And one of the teams that I spoke with was Tyler Peterson of Crank Yanker Racing. And Tyler and his team with that car, they're having a banner year. I mean, this is the best year that team has had. They picked up this car. They drove it last year too, and they picked it up, I think, at the end of the previous year, and really just spent the year racing, but they were at the same time really just kind of working out the kinks. And this year they've come into it. He said, Paul, we've had 5 events and finished 4 of the 5 this year. And they were at Watkins Glen and did really well on the first day. And then on the second day, they were running in the top 10, and they broke a wheel and overheated the engine. Chose to replace the engine for Gateway, which was a short turnaround. Gateway was that race where they had all all the sprint races, and then they did it like a couple enduros. He did 3rd overall, first in class, multiple first class finishes out there. And he's just doing really well this year. He's attracting more and more talent, the guys that want to drive with him. And so one of the things then he said to me was, I'd asked him, what are your feelings going into this race? He said, look, there's going to be a lot of big teams coming to this racetrack. Arbank's going to be there. Jackie Yates is going to be there, those guys. And they're bringing multiple cars. He just wants to finish in the top 10. He knows it's going to be hot, so he's expecting there's going to be some heat issues. And really, he's just looking to have a good time. He's just looking to have some fun. He's going to take it easy. And I thought it was really interesting. He put those two things together because almost verbatim, that's what Bill Strong said at NCM. And then he goes out and ends up winning the thing. Sometimes it's like when you're trying too hard, right? Then you really are trying too hard. And when a good team just kind of relaxes a little bit, just pulls back just a little bit, that's when fortune falls their way, and they come out looking really good at the end of the race. So we'll see what happens out there. He brought up the heat issue, and he's not the only team that brought that up. And I think that heat thing is going to play a pretty significant role in this race. One of the teams I talked to was Birmingham too. Now these are the Porsche Club guys that are bringing 2 cars. They've got a 944 and the SC 300. And if you remember, this was the team that brought their SC 300, which was really well prepared to NCM. And when they got there, they found out the car really wasn't working very well. And what they had found was the rear suspension was pretty loose. And that was something that they hadn't expected. They had tested the car at that track earlier that year, and it was fine. But when they rolled out on the track for this race, the back end was pretty loose. And this was that accident that they had on Saturday, putting the car into the barrier. And Roger, the team principal, told me, after we did that, it loosened the car up even worse and was really almost undrivable. So we ended up parking it on Sunday. So I asked him, how are things going with the car? And how did things look for you guys for that race? He said, well, the coupe is fine. We put some new tow bars on it, and we took it to COTA to test it. And it drove great. We didn't have any problems with it. So get this. Here's a team that takes their race car to the track they're going to be racing at. Now, they said they had taken the car to NCM and tested it, right? That's in Kentucky. That's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I thought, okay, well, that's very diligent. That's really great. They took the car out there and tested it. They must live relatively close by, right? Then you're telling me they took this car to Texas and tested it there as well at COTA. What ChumpCar team does that? I don't know. It's amazing. These guys are obviously very passionate about what they're doing. They're working very hard, and they're doing everything they can to make sure they're prepared for the race. So I look for them to do really well. This is a horsepower car, and they're driving it on a horsepower track. So I expect to see some good things come from them at this race. It'll be interesting to see how the race unfolds for these guys who are obviously working very hard to be prepared for this weekend. That brings us to the Gotham City racers with their EC BMW. Now, these guys were having actually electrical problems beforehand. They drove the car at NCM as it was, and they still couldn't get the car over 5,200 RPM. Well, since then they've taken it to a specialty shop. They've gotten it corrected, and he said, "You know what? We've got that situation taken care of." His other concerns, though, is he's running into that fuel starvation issue that so many of these E36s have, and it has to do with the separate fuel tanks that run on them, and some of the model years, I believe it's some of the newer model years, 1995 going forward, if my data is accurate, that struggle with this fuel starvation issue on certain corners as they run lower and lower on fuel. So he's having that issue. He's run into that already with this car, and he's seeing that they're probably going to have to make some unscheduled pit stops to top that off so that they can finish their stints. But that's not the most interesting thing that he brought up to me. And so take a listen to this. This is really interesting. He says, the other concern will be the heat. Forecast for 100 degrees. That's tough on both cars and drivers. I stopped at the ChumpCar race at Charlotte last Saturday. So Charlotte was pretty hot. We've had 3 really roaster races in a row. We've had Charlotte, Watkins Glen, and NCM, all around 95 degrees. It was really hot. They had to stop racing. He said it was 95 degrees, and the common statement that he was hearing was either the car was struggling with the heat or the drivers were getting red misted early in their stints and making mistakes. Get this, less than half the field finished the race. I hadn't seen that kind of attrition in several years, and I hope it's not an indication of we can expect at COTA. He too, like Tyler told me, they just want to finish in the top 10. They're just hoping to have a good race. Here's the thing. In my eyes, this race has really opened up. Yes, there are big teams coming to this race, but much like what John told me here of Gotham City, it is such a wild card when the temps are that high. A lot of these teams don't know how bad it's going to be inside that car, and it's going to come down to preparation. What kind of shape are your drivers in? You know, Tyler Peterson's in the gym almost every day. How well hydrated are they? Are they bringing hydration into the cars? Are they bringing cool suits into the cars? Right? How hot does the car get on the inside? Some cars run hotter on the inside than others. So all of these things are going to play into it. And as John said, after 3 hours, we got cars that are dropping out. So I expect that if you look at the what the running order is at 3 hours in of an 8-hour race, 7-hour race, whatever, you're going to find it's going to be drastically different from that 3-hour mark to the end of the race. So it'd be very interesting. And I think that almost like rain really opens up this race to have some exciting results. It will be very interesting to see how this race is going to unfold. Now, one of the things that's also really cool about this event, Bill Strong's going to be there, and he said he's going to be working the race. So what that probably means to us is we can expect to see a lot more video footage, a lot more live feeds. So that'll be great to see that. One of the things, that I uncovered was I asked, what is the best cellular service at the track for teams that are going to be broadcasting from inside their car, whether they're broadcasting a live feed for people to watch their progress, or maybe they're just getting telemetry. And what I got back from Andrea and Mike was AT&T has their own tower at the track. So if you have AT&T service, or you can buy one of those AT&T cards from Walmart or wherever you're going to get it, you should get your best results by going with AT&T. One of the other things, bits of information I came across at random was there is going to be fuel at the racetrack, $87.93 and $101. The pumps are there. It's a credit card type purchase. You can go up there anytime and purchase fuel. So very interesting. It's going to be a very exciting race. I'm very excited to see how this thing rolls out. It should be very entertaining for those of us that are observing, along with the teams. There's always going to be opportunity for them. So we look to see some really fantastic racing this weekend. We've got 2 videos in their instructional videos for how to get around the racetrack. And the first one shows, at the end of the video, shows pit in, what it looks like on the approach and all the way through into the pits. So that might be interesting for you to watch. So here are the 2 videos in succession. Hope you find it interesting. Otherwise, if you're en route right now, and I suspect that you are if you're watching this video, hope you have a lot of fun. Be safe, have a great time, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
So one thing that we're asking you guys to do is, because the cars are lined up way back, before you get to the starter, just try to keep it under 30 miles an hour, so we don't get yelled at. You guys don't get yelled at.
Yeah.
So these are all the brake markers, right? Mm-hmm. All the lead-in cones to avoid you guys turning in too early. And like I said, when in doubt, turn in later. Will make things a lot easier.
It's interesting, in the race, I suspect that's blind on the approach, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So that's why we use the leading cones to try to direct you guys towards the proper line.
Cool.
So that's an apex cone. Please aim to get close to this one. Oh, another thing, the curbs are really aggressive on this track, so we ask you guys not to ride the curbs too hard. Okay.
Are they progressive as you get further into them?
Yeah, I'll show you right now.
That would really unload it. Yeah.
So on this corner, let's see what I said. It keeps tightening up. So off the brakes, off the throttle before that gantry, it kind of goes through here like park throttle, just managing it. On this one, let the car go out a little bit towards those 3 cones out there, and then you can see the apex in. So bring the car back inside. That's when here's where I mentioned the sun, right?
Yeah.
6 through to 10. So keep the car out. Bring her back in. Here you can play with different lines. You can do what Jeff's doing, going out, or you can come straight, hard on the brakes, and stay on a tight line.
Go deep in the corner and just cut it.
Yeah.
You want to just try a couple?
This one.
This would be a great MotoGP course.
Oh yes, it will be.
There's a lot more elevation change here than I saw could see on TV.
This one's a really high speed corner. Try not to turn in too early because you're gonna run out of room here. Again, you can still being fun. You can use the 3 as your brake marker, because if you're, like I said, the speeds are gonna be fairly high. Again, lead-in cones just to keep you guys out from turning in too early.
They probably don't have a lot of SUVs driving this track, do they?
Have you taken it out?
Oh,
It
yes.
is, yeah. Fun, right?
Yeah.
You don't think it should be able to do that?
Exactly. And it does very, very well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had a chance to drive the car hard before on the track.
Yeah, we were at Willow Springs.
And Monticello.
Yeah, the car's just amazing.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's like, how can this be an SUV?
Yeah. So I see Jeff doing the point out. So if you see somebody coming up quick on your mirror, put the window down, use the point by, and then windows back up again.
Okay.
Don't change your line, don't move, let the passing guy do all the work. But please remember, check your mirrors, if you're being passed or if you're coming up too quick on somebody else, be patient. Wait until they give you the point by, and you go. Actually, in this corner, just go back a little bit. If you're braking after the 200 marker, you're pushing the car a little bit too hard. So the 200 marker is a really safe and still fairly quick, good point to hit the brakes. Here, turn in late. Single steering input, like all the way through the track out cone, and then you start unwinding, and the car just like go. This one, again, you can take different approaches. You can stay tight, hard on the brakes, or you can open up a little bit.
I'm sure you've seen many different approaches.
Some of them not.
We've tried them all. So that was 15. We're getting onto that triple apex complex 16 through 18. So we put like a turn-in cone in here. So turn in a little late. Try to go mid-track. This is just for reference. Try to aim at that cone. Maintain your like a constant steering wheel angle. You're gonna be pulled in closer to these lead-in cones. There's another apex right here. Then again, this line is debatable, whichever one you want to take. This corner is very deceiving. You think you can take it flat out, but trust me, you can't.
It's pity in there.
Right. So on your flyby, you will stay to the right of the track and take turn 20 as normal. On your second lap, hit it.
Okay.
And start to cool down about 2/3 of the way through.
Well, that triple apex complex, that's when we recommend you guys like get off the gas and just let the cars coast down.
Well, I think you're seeing a lot of heat in the brakes.
Right.
Which is why.
So, and the whole thing about getting your foot off the brake is because we can warp them if you keep the pads on the rotors, just foot off the brake and
get some air flowing around them.
Yeah. Because with the pads pressed against the rotor, you create a heat.
That's a lap around the Circuit of the Americas.
If the red and white, drive right through it. As you know you're heading to it, pick your eyes up, look to the outside, and drive to the outside. This is going to be the trend for every turn. The sooner you pick up drive, the more distance you're going to be able to drive out. If you just look straight down, you're never going to track out with speed. So here we are, we're down at turn 2. You stay in, you only go halfway out. And this is setting up for turn 3, you pull back to the right. Over the curve, you're going to do a straight line braking, release the brake, turn right. Turn left. As you turn left, only use half the track. Don't use the whole track. This is set up for the final S. You're going to be about halfway out. You're going to be tightening up the radius, tightening, until you're actually on the right side of the track. And that's the setup for the left-hander. Left-hander, you run over the curb, you only track halfway out. Turn right, head up the hill. That's a tightening turn. Also, you tighten until right here, where you'll be flat out. You'll floor it from then on out. You can actually even track out over here. Four-wheel drive, it just doesn't care, you know? Down this hill will be flat out. It'll be flat out 2 laps from now. You go flat over the other bump, right to here. Brake straight line. You're going to do a pretty late apex. That's to get us a real strong run onto the straightaway. So way out here, and a real late turn across, and off we go. Alright, let's step on the gas. We've got a long way down the straightaway. Let's do it. Next thing you're going to be looking for is the brake marker. We're going to stop on the front end, that 300 marker on the right side. So look to the right. There it is. Again, your eyes are going to be the key. You're slowing down. Don't overshoot this apex. Put it in, across the apex, and slide right out to the edge of the track. There you go. Let's do this like a little diamond. You go out to the pocket, you You turn hard and you stomp on the gas on the way back, and you go full speed back. Something very similar to this. When you go in the pocket, you turn real late and you pick up the throttle on the way out. And all these pickups on the throttle, because it's full drive, will be flat out. We're missing our partner here, so we're going to have to wait for him. So, you're gonna come on here, you're gonna be on the right side of the track setting up for turn 19. You basically will steer left across this curve, drift all the way up to this curve, just making the straightest line possible, and setting up for 20. 20 is gonna be, it's very straightforward in, just like you'd expect. You come here, you go in on the apex, but the exit's a little bit neater. You can go way out here if you want. There's no guidelines on a four-wheel drive car, so how far you go off. Okay, next lap, we're going to pick it up. You go flat out up here. You can put the floor and turn you go up to right down the right. You should be turning a lot more speed shortly. You almost come from the back side of this turn here. Right there, full power on the way out. Remember the line we talked about? You tuck it all the way in, you drift halfway out. Back over the right side to set up for the essence. Straight brake, all right. And then we'll only use half track on this line. Right. Decreasing radius, we're going to tighten up until we're on the right side of the track. Setting up to the left, drop it in here. Follow me, and I want you to ride call, and I want you to go flat on the throttle from there, right here, step on it, and drift down over here, and just put your left tire over the little bump. If you have to, you can drift all the way out here, but you really don't have to. Lane apex around, flat on the gas on the way out. We're going to have to do a little something here. Really hard on the way out. All put your foot to the floor. Same goes here. Look, you turn in, you get in the pocket. When you're almost aimed right there, you floor it and just let the four-wheel drive take you out. As hard as you can. Right. Then you slow it down just so you can rotate the car right here to the floor. That was good. Now show you a lot more speed for you. Follow me. Fast, I'll let you catch up now. Come right up behind me, stay in this line, smooth hands. Remember where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to the right side of the track now, all the way to the right. Make sure you're going over this red curve on the left, so you have to turn it earlier than you think. Go, on that turn, make sure you run on the inner curve. Now, just the outer curve is fine, but the inner buys you more space. Now, flat out. Don't lift until you get to the 150. All the way down. All right. More speed to here now. They're going to follow me. You have the track. You can be on the floor right there. Don't use going down the track on the left next time. Right, here we go again. Remember, we're going to tighten it up. We're going to back up where you floor it now. Floor it from right here. Now you almost charge this aggressively. Like step on with everything you got there. Much better. Now find this inner curve. Run over the inner one. On my left here, looks like you're turning in to run right over it. Now it's perfect. If you can get to it, try the same here. You're always trying to. You never seem to. So just run it out.